Has he worked a full week since January?
He has not.
I mean, I
He's
understand.
been under the weather.
I was on vacation last week. That's like a pre-planned thing. David, lately, random. I'm out Monday. I'm out Friday. He's turning into Black Kang. He's blang. It's unbelievable.
Everybody's always a black something or
I mean, that's what makes it funny. I mean, it's you got to play around with it a little bit.
or is it Bluey? Or Bluey?
Bluey for
Bluey.
Bluey for the Black Ryan Willie, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Bluey.
Crazy.
Well, I wanted to start out with something local, and it's gained a lot of steam since we brought it up initially. Carlos Monarez in the Freep. Shame on hypocritical Lions for considering Joe Mixon. And the opening line of the column sends pretty much a strong message and the only message you need to think about. Because I'm going to ask you whether you're on the side of this or not. And Joe Mixon on video breaking a woman's jaw in a restaurant. There is no other way to put this, Monarez writes. Bob Quinn disgusts me. The Detroit Lions disgust me. And the organization should be ashamed of itself. Is that a true statement? Does that ring hollow to you as a Lions fan? Or do you read those words and nod your head in approval and go, yes, yes, indeed? Because I have a feeling very few of you share that view.
I think it's a little over the top. It's really strong, which is what you're supposed to do if you're trying to get your point across. But I think it's just a little bit over the top. The Detroit Lions disgust me. That's as strong as you can go. And the other thing is, I'm not convinced, and we have to hear from her, I'm not convinced that the whole Lions organization is behind this. We need to find out.
248-539-9797. Monarez continued, it's repugnant not only that Quinn and the Lions are considering bringing Mixon to the organization, but there seems to be very little outcry about it. Now, define outcry. I mean, I have said, look, I understand someone will take this kid. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't bring him here. I think you have to be a different kind of organization, and I just think it's a difficult thing to do. I wouldn't be bent out of shape that someone would take him because, newsflash, we lost cabin pressure a long time ago. If you think that Joe Mixon is going undrafted, you live on a different planet. He's going to be drafted. You have to come to that realization. These teams do not care what players do. They will give you a chance if you are good enough. And if you burn through those chances, then and only then they'll get rid of you, and someone else steps up to claim you. So I have come to grips with the fact someone's drafting him. I don't let it bother me. I just say I wouldn't do it. But I happen to agree with T on this. I think saying the Lions should be ashamed of themselves, that may be a little strong for me. I throw the number to you. Ticket text, obviously, wide open, 97136. You got your phone number, 248-539-9797. So here's the question, Terry. What do you believe should be said about the Lions for considering this? Now, Sully has said he's fine with it. He thinks they should be considering him. They should do everything in their power, and we shouldn't care what guys do off the field. That's what Sully has said. Now, do you go to that side?
No, I go to the side that I wouldn't do it, and I hope that they don't pick him. But I'm not going to say, oh, this disgusts me. I'm just outraged. I'll never pay attention to them again. I just disagree with what Quinn said. He kind of said, poor Joe Mixon. He wasn't there to tell his story, and I wasn't there to hear his story. It was a woe is me type of thing, which I didn't agree with. But if the Lions consider Joe Mixon, I'm not going to stand on a soapbox and say, this is outrageous. The reason there's not much outrage is because the Lions have been so bad and these fans have been beaten up so much, they want talent. And I don't think a lot of Lion fans are going to be outraged if they pick Joe Mixon. There's going to be some protests. There's going to be some people upset. But there's going to be a lot of fans that say, well, if he can play, all right. Let's see what he can do.
That's what I want. I want guys who can play. Joe Mixon can play. And let me just be very, very clear about this, because I know the text will come in.
Very clear.
I am in no way, shape, or form saying that what he did is in any way okay. The video is disgusting. I would never touch a woman myself. That's you can't do that stuff. You just can't. But at the end of the day, if you talk to anyone at Oklahoma, it certainly seems like he's turned a page since then. He's been very remorseful. He's been very sorry. All I'm saying is if that research is done, if it's concluded that he has moved on, he has been very apologetic, and that was in his past, I don't have a problem with the Lions draft him. I want guys who can play.
All right,
this guy
let
can
me
clearly
say this,
play.
Sully. Whenever you have a domestic violence dispute, the athlete almost always is remorseful. He always says, I wish I hadn't done it. The school or the coaches always say, well, he's moved on, and this is pretty common. Every now and then you will get someone that says, I don't give a damn, I did it. Yeah, so what? But the athletes are always remorseful. Like in the NHL, when someone slashes someone, almost immediately they get that puppy dog face. Oh, what did I do? What did I do?
But this is more than that, though. This is more than just a paper statement.
But I'm saying
if you read accounts
they always
from people,
do the same thing. It's the same story.
But I know, and they always release a statement and whatnot. But if you read accounts from people at Oklahoma, they've said that he seems like a different person.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
That means something to me.
No, it doesn't, because the school is always going to do that because they want their guys to be drafted, and they want to make sure that they're supportive of the guy. What I would be an advocate of is Bob Quinn sitting down and talking to him and evaluating himself. That's the true test right there. Not the school issuing a statement, not the coaches said he's turned the page.
But that's all part of it.
They always do that.
That's all part of it, though.
To me, it's window dressing.
Part of evaluation is, obviously sitting down with the guy, talking to him, getting to his head, but it's also talking to the people who's been around him, talking to the people
it is,
close
but
to
I think
him.
the main thing is your evaluation of him when you meet with him. That's number one. Because I see this story all the time. It's the same thing.
I'm not saying I'd spend a first-round pick on him, but if he's sitting there, I wouldn't have any reservation with the Lions drafting him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's drafted on day 2. Mid to late second round. I think somebody, probably a good team, is going to take that risk. They're going to put him in that insulated position, have veteran leadership, have the right people around. I won't be surprised. Just because I wouldn't take him, I'm not a fan of bringing noise to the organization. You get busted for weed, I'm fine with it. You can judge me, you can yell at me and say that's hypocritical. I disagree, but so be it. But look, like for instance, my New York Giants, I never would take this kid. Putting Joe Mixon in the New York media scene, that's not fair to him. It's not fair to the team. It's not fair to the rest of the guys who got to put that helmet on and answer questions about a kid they don't know. I wouldn't do it. But I won't condemn somebody for doing it because I understand the business and I understand what people like you are saying. You're desperate. You want to win. If Joe Mixon is the best running back since Barry Sanders, you're willing to do it.
He made a colossal mistake. He made a mistake as a kid, and I don't think he should be punished for the rest of his life to make a living in what he's best at. I don't.
I agree with you, but I don't have to take him.
Well, quite frankly, I'll just be completely honest. I don't really care about character when it comes to evaluating players in the draft. I don't. And again, terrible what he did. But if the guy can play, he can play. Generally speaking, I don't care one bit about character. I don't care about off-the-field stuff unless the guy has something extremely, extremely serious where he's behind bars, in jail, whatever.
You don't take this as extremely serious.
I take this seriously, but I also take it as a mistake that he appears to have moved on from, according to multiple people.
All right, let's throw the number out. 248-539-9797. Carlos Monterez column in the Freep. There's no other way to put it. Bob Quinn disgusts me. The Lions disgust me. And the organization should be ashamed of itself for considering Joe Mixon. Where do you fall on that line as a fan? Do you give a damn at all? Maybe Sully is actually the voice of the fan on this.
I think he is. In a lot of ways, he is.
So then what does that say about us?